Action.
By show of hands, how many of you are aware of what an HBCU school is? For those of you who aren't aware, HBCU stands for Historically Black College or University. These schools were established to provide an education for people of color who have been discriminated against, and it's like, well, HBCUs help them get ready for the real world. You may question if the information I am providing you with today is credible, but I'm here to tell you that it is. I took a tour to Wilberforce University and learned the historical background of that school. And for my other schools, I went on the Ohio Department of Education and done research on them there. Today, I will cover the first three HBCUs that have been to emerge, which are the Institute for Colored Youth, Lincoln University, and Wilberforce University. Now that you're aware of our agenda, let's start with the first to emerge, which is the Institute for Colored Youth. This institute was founded by Richard Humphreys, a man with a legacy of $10,000 to instruct African Americans and prepare them for the future. According to Moonstone Arts Center, the institute wants to qualify them to be able to teach. The school had various branches to help them get the education they need to teach. Some of these branches were mechanical arts, and they also provided a curriculum of classical language, advanced mathematics, and English. The institute had a successful principal who guided the students in the right direction for their intellectual performance. The principal's name was Ebenezer Bizet. A great student of his was Octavius Cotto. Cotto was his class valedictorian, which meant that he achieved academic excellence. And later in life, Cotto became a great instructor and civil rights activist. The Institute for Colored Youth was founded in 1837 and was the start of HBCU schools. Now that we've learned some background information on this school, let's move on to Lincoln University, located in Pennsylvania. Lincoln University was founded in 1854 by John Miller Dickey. This university was a game changer for the fact that it was the first HBCU to grant degrees to students. After the university's 100th anniversary, it also got a charter amendment. A charter amendment means that there's been a change made in their charter, and that change is that it was the first HBCU to grant degrees to women. According to Lincoln University, 20% of African American physicians graduated, and 10% of African American attorneys graduated during the first century of the school being established. One of the physicians who graduated was Isaac Burrell. He studied at Lincoln University and eventually opened the first black-owned drugstore in Southwest Virginia. After his death, a hospital was named after him to honor his memory. Archibald Grink was a successful lawyer who attended Lincoln University. He also attended Harvard Law School to become a successful lawyer. We've covered two HBCUs which originated from Pennsylvania. Now let's move on to Wilberforce, which originated from Ohio. Wilberforce was founded by a great abolitionist named William Wilberforce. According to wilberforce.edu, this school is the oldest private HBCU that was directed by African Americans. And just like the other two, it was known for being bold enough to provide education for blacks when they weren't supposed to. Wilberforce was another HBCU with successful students, but a majority of the students are known to be musicians. One of these musicians, his name was George Russell. George is a jazz musician born from two parents of different color. He also composed music and contributed greatly to music theory. Another one of Wilberforce's musicians was William Grant Still. Grant played woodwind instruments and string instruments. He was a great composer and composed nearly 200 works of music. Now that you know about the first three HBCU schools, let's review a little bit of what we learned today. We've learned how the Institute for Colored Youth was the first HBCU to emerge. We've covered how Lincoln University was the first to grant degrees, and we've learned how Wilberforce provided education at a time that they were not supposed to colored people. I even gave examples of many successful students who came from the school. I hope you now understand how these schools were the start of education for African Americans, or people of color overall, and led them on the right path for their profession. hopefully you now see that HBCUs have made a big difference in the education of them also. These schools have been around for the past century. Yeah, they helped African Americans a lot. With that being said, I would like to conclude my speech. Do I have any questions? Thank you for your time today.
Thank